Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to go over some Sephora best sellers. So I picked out 10 items that was on the Sephora best sellers list in the makeup category, and we're just going to go through them one by one. I'm just going to share my opinion on them, whether I think they are worth the hype or not. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and hop right into the video. Alright, so I'm basing my best sellers off the Sephora US site because I feel like that's just probably a little bit more general, and I didn't want to buy any new products for this video. I'm also cruelty free, so obviously the first 10 might not be what I'm showing. It's just the first 10 that I have in my collection and the first 10 that is cruelty free. So with that being said, on the top of the list, this came to no surprise, and also I don't know if like the order that it's shown is like the order of #1 bestseller, but the #1 product that shows up is from Rare Beauty. It's their Soft Pinch Liquid Blush. This comes to no surprise because Rare Beauty and this blush has literally everyone on a chokehold, and I'm probably in the minority when it comes to Rare Beauty because I have tried a fair few of their products. I did a video I think last year. I'll leave it up here if you want to hear my opinion, and honestly I just wasn't wowed. I think I just had really high expectations because everyone was hyping up the brand, and then when I tried it out I was like, everything's just a little okay, a little overpriced in my opinion. And I did get the liquid blush and I do like it. I got the shade Grateful, which I feel like is a pretty bright shade, and I was just like, you know, it's okay, it blends out well. It's great, but it's like I need to stop myself from buying products that other people love when I know it's not gonna work for me. I am not a liquid girl, I'm not a cream girl, and yet why am I buying cream blushes when I know I don't use cream blushes? I'm a powder girl, I'm a matte girl. Make it make sense, right? But anyway, I used this blush again today, and honestly it's growing on me. I used a little bit on the back of my hand, I dabbed it out with a brush, and then I applied it to my cheeks, and I actually really love how it looks. So maybe I will be converting, I don't know. I do see why people love it. It's pigmented, it blends well, it gives your skin a really nice glow, it's beautiful. I can totally see why it's like one of the best sellers. But yeah, I just feel like Rare Beauty to me, I don't know, maybe I'm the only one that's not like getting the hype, but I do like the product, so there is that. And the next product is from Summer Fridays. It's their Lip Butter Balm. I have mine in vanilla. They have a few different shades. Some of them are tinted. This is a product that I definitely saw on TikTok. Honestly, a lot of these products I saw on TikTok. A lot of these went viral on TikTok. I think TikTok really is just pushing you to buy products, you know? And I got the vanilla one because honestly, the packaging, it was the packaging for me. It's in beige. It's just really pretty. I do think this is a really expensive lip balm, but I really do enjoy it. It's a very nourishing and hydrating. Personally for me, I don't find it too thick. I could think that maybe some people might find it thick, but my lips are so dry. The thicker the lip balm, the happier I am, honestly. The squeezy tube, I'm not the biggest fan, but it's like low-key growing on me. Just applying it like this, I feel like a TikTok girl going. Do I think it's worth it? No, but is it good? Does it work? Yes it does, as it should, because it's expensive. And I have heard really great things about Summer Fridays. And the next product is actually one of my staples. I absolutely love this product. It's from Tower 28. It's their Shine On Lip Jelly. I have mine in Spicy, but again, I believe some of the other shades are a bit more popular. And you can see my tube, how much I have used. I'm almost actually done with this gloss, and it's kind of surprising, right? Because this is a red gloss. You'll be like, how often do you use a red gloss? But because it's a gloss, it's not gonna be as vibrant of a red on the lips. It literally looks like you just had a popsicle. Your lips look like jelly. Like the name of this gloss is so accurate, lip jelly, because your lips literally look like jelly. If you want that K-pop idol shiny glossy lips, this will definitely give it to you. I specifically love using this for like a gradient lip, applying it to the inner rim of my lips. It's just so pretty. I highly recommend this gloss from Tower 28. Then moving along, this one is also like literally no surprise. It's from Charlotte Tilbury. Can you guess the product? yes, it is the Hollywood Flawless Filter. I definitely got this because of the hype, and again, it's like, Judy, why are you buying dewy primers when you don't like to be dewy? You know, like, tell me why. But here I am. I did buy it, and I actually do like it. I don't use it like every day, just because the packaging is kind of annoying me. The font and the writing, it's like flaking off and it gets all over my hands, and if I'm using my hands for my makeup, it gets stuck to my skin, and that just annoys me, so that kind of put me off. But I think you can use this mixed in with foundation. You can use it as highlighter. I use it more like a primer, like an illuminating primer, and it does really give you a really beautiful glow from within. If you're wondering, I'm wearing the shade number 3 Fair, and I feel like it doesn't interrupt with your foundation. It just looks amazing on the skin. I don't really know how much I see such a difference like after I've set my face down with like 2 different powders, so that's what I mean. Like, I feel like my makeup style really isn't catering to brands like Rare Beauty, you know, like the clean girl, dewy look, doesn't sit her face in with powder kind of girl. But regardless, I do think it's really beautiful. I can see why a lot of people do like it, but I do also feel like there's a lot of dupes right now. I feel like every brand has like this Hollywood filter in their line, just in a different name. But yeah, I do enjoy this, and honestly, after today, I was like, okay, I should use this a bit more because I actually kind of like it. And next up, I have a lash serum. This is from The Ordinary. It's their multi-peptide lash and brow serum. As you guys may know, I don't wear false lashes anymore. I think I'm coming up on like my 1-year anniversary of like not wearing any lashes. I've been a no lash girl ever since I started getting a lash lift and started using a lash serum. No lashes for me. So I've tried a fair few lash serums, and I thought I would try the Ordinary one out because Ordinary is affordable and I've heard really great things about it, and I actually like can't give you a proper review on this just because I've only used it a few times. I've been using it alongside with my other lash serums. Like one day I'll use this, one day I'll use my other lash serum. And the reason why I don't use this every day is because of the brush. If you use this lash serum, can you tell me how are you poking your eye with this brush? Because this brush is like, it's so stiff. Okay, why is it soft all of a sudden? No. Okay guys, trust me. When I first got it, this brush hurt so much. Like, it was so stiff. But now that I'm applying it to my hand, why is the brush suddenly soft? It was just like poking my eye. Like, the bristle on this just looks extremely cheap to me. It doesn't look like something I want to keep near my eye, but maybe I might start using this again now that the brush is suddenly soft. I don't know what happened there, so we're just gonna move on. But okay, next product, my favorite. You guys know. What's my favorite concealer, guys? The Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. I don't know why I was so happy to see this on the bestseller. I guess a lot of people do like it. I'm not the only one, and I guess for a very good reason. You guys know this has been my staple concealer since I think 2018. I've gone through so many. It just has the best consistency. It has a really big shade range. It has medium to full coverage, but it does not emphasize any texture on your skin. It just does what a concealer needs to do. And it does say super coverage. I think for most people this would be full coverage, but personally for me, I would consider it more like medium to full, just because this does not exactly cover up all of my dark circles, even if I do use a corrector or a brightener. Maybe it's just like me. I don't know how to cover up my dark circles, and I think that really is it. But this has really great coverage, but you don't sacrifice it looking cakey. Because for example, with the Shape Tape, that one probably has more coverage than Born This Way, but with Shape Tape, it looks so heavy, especially underneath the eyes. Like, it just looks so heavy, whereas this, you still get the coverage, but you're not gonna look cakey and heavy. Like, there's a happy medium there, and it just looks beautiful on the skin, hence why it has been like a favorite of mine for many years. And actually right behind that, we have another concealer. This is the Kosas Revealer Concealer. I wear the shade 3.20. This is actually my second favorite concealer after the Too Faced Born This Way. Sometimes I use them both. Like, if my under eyes are really dry, I will go in with the Revealer concealer, but it doesn't have such high coverage like the Born This Way. So there's like a difference there, but I think both look really great on the skin, very easy to blend out. I think for me, what I really look for in concealer is coverage, and just don't make my under eyes look cakey. sticky. And then next on the list we have the Fenty Beauty Diamond Balm Gloss. I have mine in the shade Fussy, which I think is the most popular shade, or the OG shade at least, and I haven't used this in a while. I had to bring it out for today's video. It gives a little bit of a tint to your lips with that like cool tone mauvey pink. I can see a lot of people liking this gloss paired with like a lip liner, because I feel like this would be just a universal nude, like a cooler nude. Obviously that would look different on different skin tones, but I think overall like this is a pretty good universal type of gloss. It's not sticky at all, but it still gives you a really nice shine, and I do love it. I really do. But I think because the ColourPop Ultra Glossy lips are such a great affordable option, or even the Luxe glosses from ColourPop are really nice as well, that, you know, this one doesn't really stand out to me as much as the Tower 28. Like if I had to recommend between these two glosses, I would 100% go for Tower 28 Lip Jelly. Like this makes your lips look different. This is like just a normal gloss. This is like a unique formula, I feel. And then this next product, honestly, I don't even know why I got. As soon as I was grabbing off the shelf, I'm like, I know I'm not gonna like this, but I'm just easily influenced, honestly. So this is the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dew Drops. Again, another dewy moisturizer primer. I believe a lot of people use this as a primer just before your makeup. Honestly, I don't get the hype on Glow Recipe. I don't think it's anything outstanding. It's not necessarily bad. I just think that it's very pricey and overly fragrant. I mean, it says watermelon in the name, so obviously you're gonna know it smells, and it smells so good, but I feel like when something is this kind of like artificially scented in my skincare, I don't know how I feel about that, okay? Like I try to stay away from this product, so tell me why I bought this. Tell me why, okay? And I have used it, and I think it does absorb into the skin really well. I don't think it gives like the best glow to the skin. Like I wore Glow Recipe on this side and then Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter on this side, and I do like the look of Charlotte Tilbury. Even like if I don't have anything on my skin, I like the look of Charlotte Tilbury a lot more than the Glow Recipe, although they are like two different type of products. If we're talking about just the glow, the vibe, I don't know why I got this, guys. And finally, onto the last product. This is also from Charlotte Tilbury as well. It's her Airbrush Flawless Finish Complexion Perfecting Micro Powder. I got mine in the shade number 2 medium, and I recently got this and I started using it, and I really do like it. I think it does a really great job of just like soothing out my skin. You really do look airbrushed with it, and it's beautiful. I think the shade is really nice as well. I really don't have any complaints. As you are seeing it in the B-roll shot, I did apply it with a puff, but I don't typically use pressed powder to set my face in like that. I usually go in with a brush just to set the remainder of my face, but I actually quite liked it with a puff and setting in my skin. I think my skin looks really airbrushed today. I did use it with the Flawless filter. I'm also wearing the Flawless foundation. I feel like it's just a good combo when you are using it with her other products. So yeah, I really do enjoy this. I think it's great. Definitely worth the hype. I definitely see myself actually repurchasing it, and maybe this just might be my staple pressed powder. So there we go. But yeah guys, essentially those were the top 10 best sellers at Sephora that I already had in my collection, and also cruelty free. Top 10. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I would love to know your thoughts down below. Have you guys tried any of these products? Are any of these your favorite? Would you like to see a part 2 to this video? Let me know down below. I would love to hear from you. And if you guys did enjoy today's video, if you could please give the video a thumbs up for me. I would appreciate it so much. It really does help me and my channel out a lot. But thank you guys so much for watching as always. I love you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!